Jason and Alex. I'm Jason. That's Alex. We are on the Orange and Black Insider on YouTube. It's us and it's John and Anthony over on OBI. And then on the Believe Network, the channel is called Believe in Cincy, and that's BLEAV in Cincy. We are on with John and Anthony again over at OBI. We're on with Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends, and then we have we're also with Matt and Willie No Ball. So there's Bengals stuff every day, new content every day. I don't know if you really want to listen or consume it now because how terrible things are. But yeah, there's new Bengals content every day. So like, follow, subscribe, the whole thing. And we're going to get through this season together. Together is how we're going to do it.
Yes.
Alex, the Bengals are coming off their bye week. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed the bye. I did. If you think about like the last two games they played, might be the worst. I can't think of two worse losses in back-to-back weeks. The way they collapsed against the Jets and then turned around and somehow outdid themselves against the Bears. I can't think of two worse losses in consecutive weeks. And I think I needed a break. I think we all needed a break. We needed a break from, I wanted to watch stress-free football. So on Sunday, I watched NFL football without having to freak out about the Bengals. You know, I watched other teams that know that, hey, look, there are three phases to football. It's not offense, offense, and offense. It's offense, special teams, and defense. Defense can do things.
Yes.
How about you, man? How's your bye week?
Bye week was nice for that very reason. The Bengals games have been stressful.
Yeah,
I'm a Cincinnati transplant, a Bengals fan, but man, this has just been, I
yeah.
can't imagine,
It's been rough.
growing up with this and having to really, live and breathe with this kind of thing. Yeah, the vibes are terrible here with the team. Not only after the miserable, historic losses
Yeah,
with regards to the defense and all the points that the offenses were scoring, but also the lackluster trade deadline.
yeah,
With all we came away with was just trading away your defensive captain.
yeah.
So um, kind of not a lot to be happy about. The quarterback that you drove down shoulder sore still.
Yep.
But yeah, the bye week was nice to not think about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Got to focus more on watch my Buckeyes never let me down right now. It's been really nice, knock on wood. But yeah, unlike the Bengals, it's a stressful time every time.
Yeah,
Got away from the stress this past weekend, but we're back.
we're
We're back.
back. And Steelers week.
Steelers.
Steelers were coming off a loss against the Chargers where they looked bad. They did. They looked bad. Looked outplayed. And every team gets that. You know what I mean? We get it a lot, but every team gets it sometimes. Uh, and they also are probably looking for a measure of revenge against the Bengals for that. I think it was week 8, whenever it was, where the Bengals beat them in Cincinnati. The Steelers right now have a pretty good stranglehold on the AFC North. The Bengals are 2-0 in the division, despite their 3-6 record. But I think if the Steelers, so the Bengals 3-6, if they win out, they're 11-6, and I think 11-6 could win the division. Now that means that they have to win. I mean, this is what this means. The team that can't stop giving up points has to beat the Steelers, the Patriots, the Ravens, the Bills, the Ravens again, at Miami Dolphins, home against the Cardinals, home against the Browns. So those last 3 games are winnable. If they can, maybe, I don't know, maybe Tua scores 50 points. Who knows? But the Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, New England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers, those 5 games for a team who over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks because of the bye, have given up 70 points. Like, I don't know what they're planning on doing. What are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like the last time the Bengals played Pittsburgh, the defense, they played okay. They played well. They won that game. Uh, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to allow that to happen in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Especially when they can really put a big time hold on the division to try to win the division, get to the playoffs, and have that home playoff game. Um, I don't know. Everything has to have changed coming out of the bye week, and then, like you said, they're not mathematically eliminated. So, like, the idea that you're going to trade all your stars, we both knew that we're not going to trade Trey. That we knew that was going to happen, or we knew it wasn't going to happen. Um, I think that they would have at least needed probably a first round pick is what they were looking for. And he's maybe worth it, but he's on the wrong side of 30. He is the only guy on the team that can rush the passer, and he's going to be out this weekend, which is another agreement. And Shamar Stewart is going to be out this weekend. So yeah, yeah, they've given up 70 points over the last 2 weeks. They can't rush the passer, and now their best pass rusher is going to be out this weekend. And Shamar Stewart's not a good pass rusher. I don't know what he's good at right now. But he is. He's not going to be in. So it's going to be strictly Miles Murphy and Joseph Osai, neither of whom have been reliable. And Aaron Rodgers could just sit back there and sip his afternoon tea, wait for DK Metcalf to finish his book. You know what I mean? It's I don't think that a defense can reasonably stop an offense from scoring 30 plus points if they just can't rush the passer in the NFL. If they can't, I don't care who it is,
Yeah,
right?
right, right. I would agree, and it's the pass rush, it's the tackling, it's
Yeah. Oh,
the
it's a
effort, it's
it's
the effort, and obviously it's the things that are coming out that we don't see. There's always these things, in locker rooms and that we don't always know about and don't hear. But obviously something happened because Chase Brown came out with some strong language and some strong words.
Yep.
With regard to the defense finishing, and you don't want your players talking like that in the media, like way earlier with
Sorry.
Logan Wilson, no problem. Just like way earlier in the season with some of Logan Wilson's comments, you don't want that, but with they're right.
Yep.
It was a historically pathetic
You
performance. Like this isn't like a shade thing. Like it was very bad.
yeah.
So the comments were warranted, and you like you said, you just got to hope that the bye week really had some guys have some tough conversations because we've seen the defense play halfway decent
Yep.
earlier in the year, with the same group of players, and you got to hope something
Yeah.
changes. But I don't
I don't know I don't know what comes out of the bye week. I don't know if anyone's still bought in. I don't know, the defensive side of the ball. And like you said, the stuff that we heard about in the locker room is defensive players laughing as they're walking out. See you Monday. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then Chase Brown, having those statements. I want to say this real fast before we move on, because I do want to talk to you about the RAS thing.
know. Okay,
But Zach Taylor kind of publicly dragging Chase Brown for airing his grievances to the press really pissed me off. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Is should he be happy? Like, should he be happy? The defense in or the offense scored 33 let's see, 38 points week 8, 42 in week 9, and they still lost. So I don't understand like how you could be upset at another guy being upset about that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I would think uh, it's it's an unprecedented situation for
Yeah.
everyone involved. That's the first thing that's tough, and I it's not a good look, but I would think devil's advocate for Zach Taylor. He's saying the classic coach line on as soon as anyone says something, uh, a player about the media,
Yeah.
you say players aren't supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But this was a different type of a circumstance
Yeah.
where there's a reality that everyone saw to a very extreme degree that like the nation tuned in.
Yeah.
I'm sure like it just you open social media towards the end of the game and it's just it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like it was a laughing stock of a performance, and it falls on the head coach, and
Yeah.
you can't deflect to the player. You kind of
Yep.
get more fuel to that fire that you don't want to put out. There's an argument to be said that you did that there instead of addressing what everyone saw was just some of the worst stuff we've ever seen from an NFL defense.
Oh, yeah.
So I would agree with you. It was a little weak. I would say from the coach. Uh, but a lot of weakness going around on the field, off the
Yeah.
field. Weakness, other words. I don't know what to. I don't know what to describe it because I keep saying we haven't seen anything like this, especially
Yeah.
not like this up close and
No.
this loudly and this many points. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's so much. It's so much. Like people that aren't invested in the Bengals are surely tuning in to see what
What's going to
happens
happen this
this week. Like what's
Joe
yeah,
Flacco puts up
yeah.
87 points and the Bengals lose in triple overtime. Like that's how
There's
it
there's a show that sometimes I see a preview for. I don't know what channel it's on, but it's like called 911 or something. And they're like, oh, there's a fire tornado full of bees. And like, oh, this week a cruise ship setting for the city. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Like that's what kind of entertainment program the Bengals are providing right now. It's not a sophisticated prestige program. It's
No, it's not.
a it's whatever we can think of. They're throwing weird stuff in the chat GPT right
Have you ever seen The Day After Tomorrow?
now. Bits and pieces.
So you know how like it just escalates? It's just like it eventually gets like really cold and then it gets cold
It's
enough to freeze
crazier and
people
crazier.
solid. And then it, like it's cold enough that like a freighter is like moving down the middle of New York City and then there's wolves. It's like that. It's just like what's the next thing that can go wrong? The Day After Tomorrow Cincinnati Bengals edition. Like the defense, I want to see, I don't know, what's a new way they could lose? A safety. A safety in overtime.
A nice
I don't know what that does.
5-3, a 5-3 game.
There you go.
Maybe that'll be my prediction here for
Yeah,
this one.
and then we'll sit around and we'll say the offense only allowed 3 what the hell's going on? So, we talked about earlier a little bit in the show, Trey Hendrickson's out, Shamar Stewart's out, at least for this week. Shamar Stewart's gonna be out for several weeks. So this week, the Bengals are gonna rely on, Joseph Ossai, Miles Murphy, Cedric Johnson probably get some snaps misspelled, but those are gonna be the guys. Neither of whom have been consistent as pass rushers. Both of them were drafted by the Bengals. One was a first round pick. The other one, I think Joseph Athai was a third round pick. Both of them are great athletes. Both of them great athletes. That's the one thing the offensive line room has in common is they're all athletic, super athletic. Shamar Stewart, great athlete. Miles Murphy, great athlete. Joseph Athai, great athlete. Trey Hendrickson, great athlete. And only Trey Hendrickson can do his job. So we were talking, Alex and I were kind of texting earlier this week about the Bengals' reliance on the whole RAS thing, the relative athletic score. It's gotten big over the last few years with draft. Like, oh, look at this guy's RAS score. It's through the roof. And I was also talking to Kevin about, I should have mentioned this. Kevin was going to join us tonight, but Kevin's actually heading up negotiations between YouTube TV and the NFL to get ESPN back on YouTube TV, and he's not doing a good job. It's not on there yet. People are
Come on.
mad at Kevin. Come on, Kevin. Anyway, I was talking to him too, and I said, I think they're over reliant on the RAS. And he said that's what they have to be if they don't have the tools needed, like scouts. You know what I mean? They
Yes.
don't have the scouts needed to really accurately judge these players. So they overly rely on PFF and RAS scores. And I'm sure we're going to find out eventually that someone in the Bengals front office is using Madden. I know we will. If the Jets are doing it, you know we're doing it. It has to be. It's happening.
If one team is doing something, they're
Everybody's doing
not. They didn't just. They didn't
it.
just make that up.
Yeah, probably not. But you told me something interesting about what you found about the RAS scores, and I'm just going to let you. I don't want to you go ahead and say it. Tell them about the RAS score thing that you found out.
All right. I put my own numbers based on what I could remember from my not illustrious college career. So for this is I have a group of friends in the group text, and they like to they make fun of me for this type of thing. But I put my numbers into the RAS, and I got a high score. And what it gave me a lot of points for was my size.
Mhm.
What I was in college, I was about 6'5", 6'5.5", about 280, and it really bumped up that score. And if there are things that are weighted, if they are using tools like this that are weighted in improper ways to do evaluation, that's one thing. The one thing I did notice when I put in my 40 time and my 10-yard split, my bench press, my vertical, all that good stuff that I remembered. I got a really good score. I will say I got like a 9.1. I was pretty happy about myself, but it didn't have any section there for sacks where I would have put a big zero. Okay.
This is a production meter. This
Yes,
is
yes. My less than 12 career tackles. That's the kind of thing that a robust scouting department that we know the other teams have that can actually watch the games and evaluate and see the makeup and pick those guys that are really good athletes that are terrific, professional football players and guys that are good athletes, good for you, that are going to go pro in something other than sports like myself. You need to have some discernment there. You need to have more
right.
tools. So we were talking a lot about like the RAS score and how it. I just opened up a tab and entered it. You can just do anyone can enter it. Maybe in the comments or something. Let's hear some RAS scores.
Yeah.
Maybe this weekend go out and time yourself on a 40, put some reps up on the bench,
Yeah.
and maybe you can be a Bengal. I don't know how it works, but it's
It's
it's it's
possible.
a frustrating thing when we're gonna get to the talking about the offseason evaluations. Um, how much different are their evaluations
Yeah.
than ours is the question that we don't have. We're just making a lot of assumptions and we're not getting results that say that the other 31 teams are seeing.
Right. So so a team that relies heavily on the RAS, which seems to have an over reliance on height and weight and some physical attributes that don't really, all of which don't transfer well
Not
to the actual
necessarily.
game of football. Right. So the Bengals put all that reliance on drafting athletes like Joseph Osai and Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart. And then there's a reason that Shamar Stewart has 4 sacks in college, right? I mean, there has to be.
Right.
And I understand that, like, like a sack is one thing, but you can be disruptive without getting a sack. I mean, you get a hand in the quarterback's face, he throws a short pass, it gets picked off, whatever. Just getting to the quarterback, just any sort of pressure is good. But he's not doing that. He's not doing that. And then last week, just such a great athlete, and oh, he's going to be a great run defender. I watched a 150-pound wide receiver box him out.
Yeah,
Did
that
you
was a
see that?
rough rep. That was a rough rep.
Just a slot
Yeah.
receiver just kind of makes contact with him and then gets his back into him and boxes him out. I don't understand. I would like to think that in that same situation, my big ass could just run that wide receiver over. I'm not saying I'm going to make a tackle, but I don't
Hey,
know if it's go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say that little guy, sure he's packs a big punch and everything, very strong NFL players out there, but it was a rough from
Yeah,
someone that's had some rough reps when I was on the field. That was a rough rep. That happens, but it was like a series
yeah.
of it
It's
was
just
like an
it's
avalanche of rough
right,
reps.
right. It's
Yeah,
been, let's find athletes and we can coach them up. And I understand the concept, and I'm sure that you do too. The idea of there's certain things you can't coach. Like you can't coach Shamar Stewart to be more athletic. It's just not possible. You know what I mean? There's
mhm,
certain things that you can do to maybe shave off a tenth of a point, something like that off your 40 time, maybe a little, not a full second, just a little bit. You're athletic as you're gonna get. And there's obviously hard work that goes into that, but like I at this point, like we don't is it an effort issue? Is it a coachability issue? Is it you know what I mean?
yeah,
And the Bengals obviously at the same time are not capable of developing young players. Is they get
right.
all these athletes and then they do nothing. Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart are flashy first round picks. If you did a redraft on those guys, I'm not sure they go in the second round. I think it's too early to say this on Shamar Stewart. But like
It,
Miles Murphy a second round pick? I don't know. I really don't know.
it's early to say, but it's what we've seen
Yeah.
on the field, and it's been so extreme that it makes it, you know, it makes you want to make an extreme declaration sometimes about some of these things we see. And like you said, yeah, you can't coach, the athletes, and that's why you get them in, but
Yeah.
some you need to have some sort of evaluation step or step you can coach and make that athleticism functional
Right.
for on the football field because how many examples do we have across the combine of the defensive end that didn't run under a 5 but still ran a Pro Bowl, or the guy that didn't get a lot of reps in the bench press and still, is run stopper or what have you, whatever the example is. We've seen it. We're not talking about magical, mystical things about bringing in these super prospects that only certain people can find. Like the draft every year, there's 250 guys coming out every year. It's just a little frustrating that there's been these types of problems at the same position.
Can I tell you? I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is
Go
exactly I
right
think
ahead.
what you're talking about. So we were talking about Shamar Stewart's RAS score.
Mm.
Uh, Here's an RAS score of a guy that I think we would all kill to have back on the Bengals in his prime at 7.4, and that's Sam Hubbard.
Okay, there you
All
go.
day, every day. I take Sam Hubbard prime over Shamar Stewart, Joseph Osai, uh, Miles Murphy, all day, every day.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's not the athlete that those guys are, but he played better technique, better drive, whatever. I don't know.
right, right. Yeah, I'd be curious to see, Geno Atkins. I'd be curious to see, some of Perfect. I remember didn't have the best numbers in the whole world, but he just gave all the effort, too much effort sometimes with the face masks and the effort after the play and before the play and
Yeah.
all that. But uh, at least we saw something. At least we saw that want to
I
from that we haven't been seeing the last few weeks from the
I
team.
don't know if this is right, but I just looked it up because I was curious.
Mhm.
Vontae's perfect RAS score is 0.2. I just
Uh,
I don't I don't
did he opt
know.
out of some stuff?
I guess I mean, this show.
uh, no, I'm thinking back. There was something.
I mean, he went
Because
undrafted for a reason,
yeah,
obviously, but he
that
was
was
good.
something.
He's
Right.
also kind of crazy,
Yeah.
and I think he's responsible partially, maybe, for Antonio Brown being locked away for attempted murder. I something he rattled something loose. I think he rattled
Hey,
something loose,
hey,
and
hey.
Antonio froze his feet.
It
Yes.
was a
All right.
big hit. It was a big hit.
Yeah. You got anything else? I tell you what. I want to know. What do you think? I think. Do you think the Bengals are going to win on Sunday in Pittsburgh against the Steelers?
Um, sure, sure. Yeah. I think I think Pittsburgh they did take a pretty bad loss with the Chargers, and I don't know what's on over there. It compounds. It's just been it took the NFL break a little bit from after the Bengals, but it's been such a zany year, I'll say. Um, not having some options on defense maybe will breed some creativity.
Yeah.
Maybe the Steelers will think they can do some of the stuff what the Bears did and just throw a weird one over the middle of the tight end and have the
Right.
safety close their eyes and put their hands in their pockets when they try to make the tackle.
Yeah. That's
But
the thing. The Bengals are the only uniform that must have pockets because they don't use their
yes,
arms or anything. They just run into people.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have a
Yeah.
rule. You gotta have your hands in your pockets before the play starts.
You have to spear someone
Um,
properly tackle them.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, anything can happen in the NFL. Anything can happen. It was a bye week. The defense was terrible. They are professionals. I
Yep.
bet this doesn't feel very good to hear washed up guys like me talk about their abilities. So maybe stuff like this is going to light a fire, and they'll come out and have a little bit of a better performance. So yeah, let's say they win 5-3, like I said
Okay. There we go. All right. Well, like you said, I don't know what's going to happen. I think they're the hardest team in the NFL to judge right now because the offense could come out and score 40 points, and then the
they're
defense
killing it.
could allow 50. They could allow 30. They could allow 10. I
Yep.
don't think Pittsburgh is as good as Pittsburgh fans think they are. I think they're okay. I don't think that they're as good as Aaron Rodgers is not the same as he was, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's such in the AFC North. There's such a long season
yeah,
left,
I,
and yeah, and yeah, I had some doubts about Steelers before the season. With maybe it's a long year, a couple
yeah,
injuries could really change how they do things, but um, it's been a strange year.
yeah,
It's been a very very strange year with the ups and downs across the league outside of Indianapolis for some
right.
reason.
And that's been
So
a couple things there have happened with the losses I wasn't expecting. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah,
but
it's been a
yeah,
bad
well,
year.
yeah, yeah. What do you think about the game? What's your prediction?
I don't think they'll win. I think they're going to go out there. I think the Steelers have a bad taste in their mouth from last week. I think they have a bad taste in their mouth from week 8 or whenever it was the Bengals played them. I think it was nope,
Right.
sorry, week 7. Um, and I think that they possess a toughness like from top to bottom as a franchise. Regardless, I know it's not the same players, but there is a Steelers way. You know what I mean? We always talk about the Patriots. There's a Steelers way of football. And I think that they possess a toughness that the Bengals do not possess. And
Okay.
I think that this could be a big game for both sides. This could start a push for like, hey, maybe the Bengals can do something out of the bye week, you know? But I also think that this could be the same for the Steelers. Is this is going to be our push? You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think that this is going to be a loss. I could see, I don't know, let's say 39-33. Why
Okay.
not? Another
Yeah.
30 game plus game that they lose.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, they come back and they got, I don't even know who they got. I think it's Baltimore right after that.
Yeah, I
No,
think.
Patriots first.
Yeah,
Then,
I think it gets
yeah,
dicey. We got Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Ravens.
all
Uh,
teams.
yeah, yeah, and then we're into Christmas by then. So
Yeah. Yep. Merry Christmas, Bengals fans.
yes,
All right.
yes,
Again, we are on YouTube on the Orange and Black Insider. It's us and it's John and Anthony on OBI. And then on the Believe Network, the channel is called Believe in Cincy. That's BLEAV in Cincy with a Y. And it's us, it's John and Anthony at OBI. It's Matt and Willie No Ball, and it's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. There's new Bengal stuff every day. So like, subscribe, follow the whole thing. We'll be back again next week to talk about hopefully the Bengals did something exciting. Hopefully something good happened and we don't have to come back here and just it was another terrible game.
yeah,
3 weeks where they scored 40 or 30 or more points and lost. Just I hopefully we don't have to talk about this anymore. Hopefully
yes,
something different happens.
absolutely.
You got anything else, man?
No, hoping Kevin can work on those negotiations. I'm missing
Yeah,
my Maction, my Tuesday and Wednesday night Maction.
yeah. Get on it, man.
Unfortunately,
Get on
ESPN
it.
has the deal. So
It's funny. I don't know why Google and Disney tapped Kevin to but hey,
hey,
I don't know.
you gotta get you can get.
Yep, you gotta get what you can get.
They said a hero can save us, whatever that song is.
Let's go get Kevin. Yep. Kevin, all right. Who day?
Who day?